and hopefully joined shortly by my co-host, Ghani Zahid. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. So we are usually joined by our CEO, Ludo Faraj, who is hopefully our joined shortly by my fearless leader at Nucamp. We're having a little bit of technical and we are sad that he's not here today, but we're going to rock without him. Let's see, I don't see Ghani joining the stream. So let's see. Let's see if I can invite him again. And we will be taking your questions soon, so please add them to the chat. In the meantime, let's get started. So as I mentioned, I'm Zandra. I'm an advisor at Nucamp, and I'm been here for a couple of years. I am also one of the instructors at Nucamp. Sometimes I'll be helping you out with your code, and we are very happy to also have Ghani Zahid with us. At the moment, he's not with us, so please bear with me while try to move forward without him. I'm handling most of the preliminaries, so shouldn't be a problem. Mississippi in the house, nice. So what is Nucamp? Some of you who are already here, you are familiar with what Nucamp is. So our social mission is helping career shifters in all sorts of different industries and economies to get into tech. So that is the core mission of Nucamp. We try to open the barriers down for everybody. And Nucamp is the most affordable. It's the most flexible, and I gotta say the most fun weekend coding bootcamp. So we help you to prepare for a career in tech within 22 weeks at under 2K. Also, we're the #1 rated bootcamp for the last 5 months. We are in pre-COVID in 35 cities. For now, we're fully online. So we can also talk a little bit about exactly what Nucamp is. And the traditional bootcamp model, it is something that's attractive to a lot of people who have tried online boot camps. So if you look over on the right side, there's the usual, what you might have already tried if you're here joining us, how to study on your own, your Udemy courses, your Coursera courses, your even YouTube, all the free or low cost options for learning to code. Many of you might be kind of stuck in that kind of tutorial hell. Those are all really good options for learning, doing tutorials and doing low cost, maybe $10 courses, $20, $100 courses, but you're on your own. You don't have that support that you need. It's really hard to stay committed, and there's no real instructor support. The completion rates are really low for that, around 3%. Way over on the left side is the traditional boot camp. That is what you might gravitate to after you've tried the online boot camps, and you're like, I need something with more structure. But then you hit that wall where it's really expensive, high cost, thousands of dollars, and it often has a big barrier to entry, like a rigorous interview process. You might have to decide, should I give up my job, which is paying the bills, and do this full-time boot camp? Sometimes they're not even located in your area because, maybe it's a 3-hour drive away or something like that. So they're fine for those who can afford it and who can make it work, but people are left out. So in the middle there, that's where Nucamp comes in. Nucamp is a hybrid that blends those two things. So you have that commitment, you have that structure, you have the support of an instructor, you have a kind of classroom feel on the Saturdays, but you also have the online study on your own portion where you're studying towards your goal of coding in the workshop, and you have those small groups, you have that instructor support, and key is it's less than $2,000. So go to the next one. So Nucamp's history, you also you might already know, Nucamp has been around since about 2017 in Washington State, and it was founded, grown in Washington. I see the shout outs here. Vegas. I think I saw Texas in there. Well, Washington State in the house. I'm actually broadcasting from Honolulu. Hey, and there's my pal Gani. Hey, he made it. Ludo came through with the save.
Everyone.
Hey, awesome. So, right, we've got about 9,000 unique students. And maybe Gani, I mentioned I'm in Honolulu right now. Gani, where are you at broadcasting from?
I'm in New
I'm in New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Jersey. Hey, proximity to the Bronx, my hometown. You get mad props for that. Okay, so yeah, we have really good student satisfaction, um, and been at it for not a long time. So check us out on Course Report. So you also might have already seen from the website, we have different courses, different course structure now. Maybe you've joined us in the past. We're constantly evolving and making things better. If you're a beginner, you will want to start with the web development fundamentals. If you are interested in code and you don't know any HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, and if you don't know what I just said, you definitely want to start with the web development fundamentals, and a warm welcome to you if that's your situation. And then you'll get into data structures and algorithms in the Python part of the course, backend part of the course. And then you'll get into the full stack and mobile development. After the backend Python course, you'll be ready to start looking for jobs if you like as well. We have another course option. If you're here with us and you're an advanced user, have you ever heard the word big O notation? Then you might be ready to just jump in. We do have a little quiz that you could possibly just test out of web development fundamentals. We'll talk more about that. But if you're already familiar with data structures, you can go into the fundamentals, do JavaScript if you haven't, do HTML, CSS if you haven't. Highly recommend that. And then continue right on through full stack development, finish up with the backend course. Okay, now at this point, you might be wondering about how we're going to pay for the course. And we'll talk a little bit more about contact options. I see Christopher in the chat there. We're going to answer your questions in the Q&A in about 20 minutes. So basically, we have a fair student agreement. You might have heard of some other kinds of agreements out there. Nucamp has a Fair Student Agreement, or FSA, and it encompasses these 3 different payment options that we're offering. We're constantly improving our options. It was not like this a year and a half ago, and I imagine in the future we're going to be offering improvements too to the payment options. But for now, we have our best deal. That's where if you just register with just credit card, you pay on an installment plan. And if you would like to use our partner Climb Credit for financing the tuition, you can do that as well under either the faster repayment option or the most flexible option. And just to summarize those really briefly, it's a way to pay smaller payments while you study, basically. And we can talk more about that too in the chat. If you have questions, please post them. So your schedule, you might be wondering about how the course actually works. So you'll be logging into our curriculum, be studying during the week, and you'll be doing about 2 to 4 hours a day. We really expect students to put in the time and study. For me, that means I got to chill on the Netflix, the YouTube cat videos, maybe from 8 to 10, 8 to 11 p.m. You want to do some studying, or maybe in the morning if you're a morning person. It's 6 a.m. where I am now, and I'm not loving it. But if that's your bag, go for the morning study. However you want to do it is the key takeaway here. You study Monday through Friday. You're supported by your instructor. You're also supported by the community, and you work on your projects as well. Then the meat of the course, or the potatoes of the course for you vegans, is the Saturday workshop, and that is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. your local time. So a little bit about the instructors of the course. We have really awesome instructors like Gani, and we might see some shout outs in the chats. If we have some students with us, feel free to give a hoot. You'll also see some of the instructors shouted out in our reviews at all the the different review websites. So they are passionate about what they do, and that word gets overused a lot, but it really applies at Nucamp. Hey, California. And we really we compensate our instructors fairly, but they're not getting rich off it. They are here because they want to help, and it's almost similar to how open source maintainers and contributors do their thing, because they really love the code, and they oftentimes love hate maybe the community. But similar to open source, it's like our instructors, they really love the students, and they enjoy teaching and giving back. And compensation doesn't hurt at all either. And they're also nearby you, even if we're virtual during these times. So now I'm going to hand it over to my man Gani, and he is going to break down for you about becoming a developer.
Oh, thank you, Zandra.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. So becoming a is there feedback?
Nope. It could be your tab if you have another tab open with the live stream. That happened to me before.
I don't.
Well, oh, thanks, Christina. That's nice. She thinks I have a good podcast voice. I'm going to write that down. Note to self, make podcast. Well,
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
A little bit of feedback on your side. Well, I'll let you try to get that one straightened out if you like. I can cover this a little bit. JavaScript, Python are 1, 2, and 3. Well, HTML, CSS are 1, 2, and 3. As you can see from this slide, it's kind of like a survey. You might see in Stack Overflow. Oh, still getting an echo, huh? Hey, how about in the chat? You guys hear feedback? Let me see if I stop my share for 1 second. And then try to reshare it. Hang on just 1 second. Let me share without audio. Let's see. There shouldn't be any audio in that window, so How's that? Let's try again. You guys got any feedback now?
So I don't have a feedback from you. I think we're fine now. No, I don't hear no feedback. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll take that. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, so becoming a junior developer. Thank you, Zandra. So there are a few things that goes with becoming a junior developer. First of all, you know, you have to go through a fundamentals class, and you have to go through the front end or even full stack. And you could be considered a front end developer or back end developer, but that will lead you into becoming a junior developer. JavaScript and Python has been number one and number three, respectively. JavaScript has been number one for quite some time, and Python has been number three for quite some time as well. Um, Average salary is about $70,000. I have worked with students as a career coach that do end up making a lot more depending on what their career was in the past. So it definitely helps. So for example, if you work as a restaurant manager right now and you get hired by a company that's working with the restaurant industry, you end up making more money that way. Because you already know all the ins and outs of restaurant industry itself. So you end up making more money just because you already know. They don't have to teach you all that stuff. So Nucamp does already have a article explaining how to become a junior developer and salary guide and such. So there are some articles on Nucamp's website. Zandra, can you go to the next slide, please?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yep. So becoming a full stack developer with web and mobile development, there are a few classes that you would have to go through. So your fundamentals class, which is recommended for everyone, particularly to make sure that everyone's on the same exact page. We teach HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Set your pace before you go into front end with Bootstrap and other courses, front end development and back end development. Now, you can test out, as Andra said, so you don't have to worry about if you already know how HTML, CSS, and JavaScript works. You don't have to worry about redoing it. And that should lead you into front end with Bootstrap. So Bootstrap has been number one for quite some time. It's one of the really easily understandable and popular framework out there that utilizes both CSS, CSS3, and JavaScript. So learning that particular framework is actually going to open up more doors for you as far as the opportunity goes. As far as React, which will be the next course after that, we are going to learn ES6 concepts. We're going to learn about React. We're going to be talking about SPA, single page application. We're going to be talking about how to do React Router, React Forms, Redux, and React REST APIs. So one of the things that we do, we actually use one of the hosted APIs, and we talk about sending data and getting data from APIs. So you'll be building applications that do that for you. And then it leads you into React Native, which is the mobile development course. So you end up deploying applications to iOS and Android stores, and you take your React application and you pretty much deploy that. So you have both web and mobile application at the end. Now that leads you into a backend development course with Node.js, Express, and MongoDB. So that completely clears up your MERN stack development. So MERN standing for Mongo, E standing for Express, R standing for React, and Node, N for Node. So in backend course, you're focusing on routing and some sort of a data modeling with MongoDB. We do talk about Cloudflare and deployment using AWS. So that's another piece that really attracts users as well, and quite easy to understand. Now each course is about 5 weeks long, except Bootstrap, which is 4 weeks. So fundamental course is also 4 weeks total. So that should complete your full stack web and mobile development.
Nice.
Um, yeah. Sandra, next slide, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we recently started doing Python. So Backend with Python is another course that we added. So if you do not want to go after React and you don't want to do the MongoDB, Node, and Express class, you can always choose to go with Python as a backend. Now, with Mern, you will know React, but you wouldn't know the rest of it. So you're not completely completed with the full Mern stack. Now, React itself, you can use it alone, so you don't have to worry about learning the whole thing. So with Python, we're starting off with the 3 different courses. We're starting off with the fundamentals, where we're learning some data structures and object-oriented programming, some algorithms, which is quite large, quite big when it comes to Python. So there's a lot to learn there. And then we're going to go into SQL with Python. So we specifically talk about relational databases using SQL. And the choice of database that we're using is PostgreSQL and Flask. So Postgre has been one of the most popular databases out there, used for large data sets and extensive queries. So it does a pretty well job there for you. And then last but not least, the course will.
Sorry.
Oh,
I'm showing the website
okay.
at the wrong time.
Yep. So last but not least, the course goes from SQL with Python to DevOps, where DevOps you are learning the whole cycle of SDLC. And SDLC kind of talks about your whole software development lifecycle, how to deploy things, and so on and so forth. And from there, you're going to go into Agile, some project management methodologies, and then going into CI/CD, Docker, Kubernetes, Google Cloud, Azure, and AWS. So you pretty much cover every single thing with DevOps, which is quite popular. So you're pretty much covering every single thing that you could utilize as a developer to deploy your Mern stack or with Python stack. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as far as the portfolio projects goes, each graduation, we have a lot of students who complete our their portfolio projects. There are a lot of portfolio projects on YouTube channel. Dendra, could you show us a few projects, please?
Okay, awesome. So now the projects page. So if you go to the URL at our site, you'll be able to see these student projects here. We have students who are honors students, so you can graduate with honors if you submit a project and a description video. So it's really a awesome practice for discussing your work in an interview. So I'm just going to show one. Let's see, where's the chess game? I kind of like the chess game. I think it was a little bit back in the stream.
One of the many projects.
Yeah, one of the many projects. But that's cool. We can also show financial tracker. So you can kind of see this video went a little bit long, but you can see what this student did. They made a financial investment tracking app, and their video is pretty swanky. You'll be able to talk to a hiring manager, send them links to your project, and if you make a video like one of these, you can walk them through your project. And this video is kind of good practice for describing the architecture of your project and maybe challenges that you faced while building it, and how you overcame those challenges. And you can really do some impressive stuff there. So I'll go on to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. So the schedule, as far as the schedule goes, you can register within your city or your time zone. Now, Zender did mention, and I'm going to repeat that, we have students who are pretty much everywhere in the world, overseas and whatnot. We do have three time zones where the classes run. So you have Eastern, you have Central, and you have Pacific. So 9 a.m. Eastern is the Eastern classes start. Um, 10, is that 10 or 11? 10 a.m. Eastern would be the Central classes, and 12 p.m. Eastern will be the Pacific classes, if you want to just go with the Eastern time zone. So anyways, you can schedule for either one. Now, the reason we suggest that you do schedule within your city, within your time zone, because whenever the classes go back into in person, you are most likely going to see the same students that you were in class with online. You should be able to see them in person. So that's a pretty good thing. Now, don't forget about the early birds, deadline for the early birds where there's a discount. Backend, Python, August 30th, and full stack is Monday, September 6th, is the early birds for both of those courses.
Nice. Yeah, we really do. If you can, you should try to recommend register in your area. But like Gani said, those are some little hack moves if you want to start your boot camp earlier or later.
Yep, absolutely. So as far as Nucamp scholarships goes, we do offer some scholarships now. There are some scholarships that are almost complete or almost done. Now, if you notice that first scholarship, which is the high school, it's almost done. It's 46,000 out of 50,000 has been utilized. So high school graduates, anyone who's a recently high school graduate could actually apply for this scholarship. You have to apply for a scholarship before you register. New U is a scholarship for anyone who's recently been denied for a student loan. Warrior Rising is for military veterans or active duty members if you want to sign up for the Nucamp courses. And Reskill America is for those who are impacted by COVID-19. I know there were a bunch of layoffs by Best Buy, and I think that's where 30,000 of that money went. So a lot of folks actually utilized this particular scholarship for that.
Right on.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who are wondering about our statistics, if you haven't gotten to that part of your research yet in your bootcamp search, we have about a 78% employment rate. And this is based on primarily just two questions that we ask our students a few times each year. Are you employed, and are you applying your tech skills? So if they're applying their tech skills on the job, and if they're employed, they're going to answer yes to the survey. And these numbers are updated daily. We're constantly pulling in data from this automated reporting system. So you can check that out at our website under career services page. And then we also have a 73% graduation rate. This is if you make it through the first, I think it's 4 or 5 weeks of the boot camp, you have a 73% chance of graduating. So it's pretty good numbers. It's still, it is a boot camp. It's called boot camp for a reason. Just because we're affordable doesn't mean you can, slack. It's still going to be intense, and it's a lot of work. So do be prepared for that. We also offer career coaching after you graduate. Ghani is one of our wonderful career coaches. They're career practitioners. They know about development, and they want to help you. You can schedule time to talk with a career coach after graduation. And you also have access to a jobs board. So we have a nationwide jobs board in our Slack chat. And we have companies approaching us saying we want to hire your grads. We also reach out to many hundreds and thousands of companies and let them know about the wonderful Nucamp grads, and we sing your praises to them. We also have a 6-week career development program that's kind of like a course within the course. That's included in the tuition as well. We also have kind of like a coupon or reimbursement of a month of LinkedIn Premium that'll help you to make those networking connections. And then you also have lifetime access to the course content, which is constantly being refreshed as these things get updated, and the community. So you really get a lot of value when you join Nucamp. You can come back and say hi to us again and network with other students when you're continuing your job hunt. We also have under our graduate stories page, so under the career outcomes or job outcomes tab at the site, we have really great, if I can go back to this tab, under the job outcomes tab, we have our graduate stories. We have so many nice stories there. I think Gani probably taught some of these people, and
Many.
you can, yeah, you can go through and try to get into Gani's class. No, I didn't say that. Try to go through these, look at them, see if you see yourself reflected in there. And there's more in our blog as well. So please do take a look. Many career changing students, you might kind of see yourself in some of their stories too. So that does it. I think I might have gone a little overtime on the, let's see, what time is it? Oh, we're not too bad. We did get a little
Yeah.
hiccup there at the start. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So now we'll answer your questions live.
Yeah. There's
And
a lot of
let's,
questions.
there is a ton of questions. Thank you.
All
We
right.
need that.
So
Okay, yeah, if you got
I
anything.
see. Yeah, I see a question from Paula from YouTube. Do you accept international students? I actually had this past class. I had two students, one from Canada and one from Poland. And prior to that, I had Switzerland student. And actually, I had a student from China as well. So as long as you have internet connection, you are more than welcome to join.
Nice. Sweet. I see one from Christina. I've registered and canceled. Is anyone else having a hard time feeling sure about the program? So that's not really a question for us, but I think I can kind of confirm, and maybe you might find it comforting, that yes, people do maybe get cold feet. You can push back the start of your first boot camp. I think the reschedule fee is waived for that initial one. If you get if you're not sure after you've registered and you just need a little more time to start the course. So please send us an email. You can send me an email at zandra@nucamp.co or to our whole advisor team at info@nucamp.co if you need any help with that.
Yeah, I think one of the things, if I may, Zandra, for a second, you can always schedule for a class, and if you don't think it's working out, you can start with a fundamentals class, which is quite cheap. I think it's like about $300 for the course. There's no um, fees and other hidden stuff in there. So $300, you can, that's for most of the times that's like a mini vacation for most of the folks.
Yeah,
Take a
we're
class
not a
if you don't
fine
like it.
print. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If you don't like it, go for, you can go ahead and cancel it or drop from the class. Or if you think you need to retake it, you can always retake the class or take other classes. Depending on, we can help you walk you through. We do have student success coaches that can actually walk you through everything.
Nice, nice. So that kind of goes directly to the next question. How can I talk to someone about the specifics before I take the class? So you can go to nucamp.co, scroll to the footer of the page, and click on Schedule with an Advisor. If you're on our email list and you've already clicked Interested, in one of the boot camps, you've probably already been invited by automated email to talk to an advisor, and there is a scheduling link to a calendar in there as well. But definitely go to the footer of the website and click schedule call with an advisor, and we will get back to you. You just you just gotta bear with us with the calendar there. I
Yeah,
see
there's
another.
also a chat functionality
Mhm.
on Nucamp website. You're more than welcome to reach out to someone, a live chat person, to ask
Oh,
questions or whatnot.
awesome. Thank you, Gani. That's an excellent point. And Christopher says he can't get anyone to answer the phone. Yeah, we're kind of not so analog. We're a lot more with the digital communication. One of the ways that we save your tuition money is by not paying somebody to sit next to the phone and answer all the phone lines. So if you can just schedule your call, that would be great. You can also, as I said, send me an email personally at zandra@nucamp.co.
Nice. So see something about what type of after graduation job placements do you guys do? So I think Xander, you already answered that question, right, with the job placement.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, check out our
yeah,
career services page under the job outcomes tab at our site there, Eric. Thanks for the question.
yeah. So David is asking, I am a beginner, but I want to take backend courses. Is that possible? Technically speaking, yes, it's possible. Success rate, I'm really not sure about. You need to know a lot of basic stuff before you can actually jump into, burning fire, as a metaphor. There's a lot of stuff goes on in the back end. Can you just learn back end? You probably could, but especially with JavaScript, you need to know how JavaScript works before you can actually jump into back end.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's the recommended path to take to start with the 4-week class. I like to say, like, I think I said last week, if you're going to take a gourmet French cooking class, but you never even made a piece of toast, then you might encounter some difficulties that you didn't expect. So you might want to try with our recommended option of the 4-week class first.
Yep. Is a Saturday 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. the same schedule for all programs? Yes, that's correct. We have, to be honest, 200 to 250 classes running at the same time on Saturdays. There's a lot of classes running at the same exact time.
Oh, I think I highlighted the wrong one. Let me see. Oh yeah, no, that was the right one. Yeah. And then they're mentioning, is it mandatory or recorded? It is mandatory and it is not recorded. So you definitely want to attend the Saturday course. Of course, things happen, stuff happens. The car needs to go to the shop. The baby gets sick. God forbid you break your leg or something like that. Those kinds of things happen. So we do work with you to get your project in time and get it graded if something comes up, and you will contact your instructor immediately if something happens and you know that you can't attend, so that they can work with you for that. But I didn't want to skip over this one from Meme or Meme. What about students in overseas? We welcome you. Gani kind of already covered that one, but just definitely go ahead and select outside the United States when you hit the registration button, and it asks for your city and state.
Okay, thank you. I'm wondering if there's a part-time course for all the courses, or will it be all full-time courses? So the courses are all on your own pace. So you can be part-time, full-time, whatever you please, as long as you finish the curriculum. As the curriculum goes by, it is more difficult. So let's say a 5-week course, week one will be easier, week two will be harder, and then so on to week five, which will be the hardest. So completely up to you. I suggest you have somewhere between 15 to 20 hours dedicated. It might take you less or more, but you do want to have X amount of hours dedicated to learning.
Nice. Thanks very much. And we kind of went over this one. Let's see. Curlian, hello. For potential instructors. Sure. I hope you found it to be informative and you learned a lot about Nucamp from this open house. There is a section on the footer of our homepage on all pages where you can click apply. And once you start the application process, you'll get a bunch of emails and things, and you can hit reply on any of those emails if you have more questions as well. Yeah, but thanks for joining us.
Sandy, there was a question about go over GCP? I think that's Google Cloud. If they're talking about. Yes, we do go over Google Cloud in the Python backend course
Thanks,
in
Yanni.
DevOps.
Yeah, good question, Eric.
All right, there's a bunch of other, feedback stuff that we're going through. What about getting career opportunities with just the backend bootcamp? So technically speaking, you could be a front end developer or back end developer, right? It's not necessarily one or the other or both. You could have one, you could do well with backend, just backend bootcamp. But are you going to learn every single thing or know every single thing? Probably not. I think depending on your language, you might need to learn somewhat of front end. So, for example, with MERN you do need to know extensive JavaScript to actually know or learn the backend. It's not the same thing with Python. So with Python, you could get better career opportunities with backend using Python.
Nice. Thank you so much, Gani. Let's see
Yeah.
here. I'll just quickly go through this one. Good foundation for data science. Yes, because Python is used a lot. Python and R. I guess there's some other languages there. So always, always, always a good idea to get some Python under your belt if you're interested in data science, and you also go through data structures and algorithms as well.
Yep. Which option should I use? I'm not sure what that question is about, Kathy. I think you want to know where to start. I would start with fundamental class as the first one. If you are new to programming, that class is for anyone who has no idea about programming. When I was teaching that class, I had a bunch of students who were previously nurses, teachers, and waiters at restaurants.
Yeah, so awesome. If you are in um, Kathy's situation and you're not sure about what to do, definitely take a look at this URL. And since I used to like Parks and Rec, test yourself. You gotta go to this link, url.nucamp.co/test yourself. And if you get an 85% or better, don't worry about taking the fundamentals course because you've already got it down.
Yep. Are each of these different ones, or is there a full stack altogether? Oh, these are all different classes. So you could take a little break between each classes if you like. There is a 1 week break per class, but if you want to take a longer break, you're more than welcome to start the next class after that. We usually recommend not taking a break, just because we have seen that as you're in that momentum, if you keep going, you have a better success learning everything together, and so on and so forth. And one of the good things that Nucamp does offer, these courses are available to you for your lifetime. So if you graduate and you think I need to spend a little bit more time on React and see what else is going on with React, because Nucamp did update their course, and it will tell you even though you went through the whole course and you got 100% done, Nucamp updated the course, and this time, you're only 50% done because 50% of the course was updated. You can go back and redo the course if you like on your own. You wouldn't necessarily have an instructor, but in usual cases, you will have an instructor per course. It is dedicated 12 students per course, so an instructor is working with 12 students max
Hmm.
at a time.
Nice. Yeah, and full stack does not mean our full offerings. So try not to confuse the title of the course there. But yeah. So Ashley, can we use federal financial assistance such as Pell Grant? No, sorry, we do not use those payment options.
But you can apply for one of those scholarships. Hopefully, you can if you fall into one of those scholarships that we have available. And then there's other financing options as well.
Excellent save there, Guy. So, do you teach us how to write our own tests, Natasha? Yes, in the backend course, maybe Gani can cover the front end courses, but in the backend course, you're going to be using PyTest, and you're going to be doing your own unit testing. So, good question.
Okay. I don't think we cover anything in the front end. Usually Jest that comes with React, but you have to write your own unit test there. I don't think we do that with React.
Cool. Thanks. And you can also request our syllabi as well. So if you have any other questions about the course, you can also request a copy of the syllabus. Reskill America, Gani kind of covered that already, Eric, but definitely go to our scholarships page, nucamp.co/scholarships, and check that out. And Patrick, how much is the school fee? We already mentioned it's sub 2K, so below 2,000, but definitely go to our site and get the details there. We have interest-free installment plans. We also offer financing as well.
Xander, there are some messages in through Facebook. If you want to take React for a second time, do you have to pay full price? If you want to take the course with an instructor, yes. I actually, you know what? I think there's a retake fee, which is not a full fee. So I think it depends. Are you trying to just go through the course? Then it's free because courses are available to you. But if you want to retake the course, then I think there is a small fee. I think 129, if I'm not wrong. Xander, do you know what is the
Just
retake fee?
79 for the retake. Yeah, just 79.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
For the initial retake, probably. I think if for some reason you had to retake again, I believe it's $99, but don't quote me on that. Should be in our FAQ page as well. Nice catch there on the Facebook. So let's see here.
Do you do this dropout one? Does student drop out after first 4 to 5 weeks, or by their performance they are dropped out? So technically speaking, if you do not work within the curriculum or whatnot, Xander, that's on YouTube. Sorry. They just don't get a certificate. So we don't necessarily drop a student. They just don't pass the class. In order for you to pass the class, you have to finish the complete curriculum, and your instructor will work with you to make sure you have all the stuff that you need to pass the class. Awesome. Where can we preview course material? How is it presented? Is that syllabus, Sandra, that you mentioned? You can see the course material.
Yeah, you can get a copy of the syllabus. You can also see what our students have created, so that will give you a good idea of what you could possibly create. We don't offer some of those super pricey boot camps will offer a free preview or preview lessons 2 weeks or something so that you can pass their entrance exam. We do not offer that. We welcome students to just self-assess and see if you want to select the course that you need. To go back to the cooking analogy, like I know personally, I have no business taking like a French pastry class or something because I could burn water. So you kind of know where your level's at, and we also have that quiz that can show you. It's presented during the week by pre-recorded videos, our custom content, quizzes, exercises, and so forth, and suggested readings. So you'll be doing that work during the week.
So there's this question from Christopher. I work as a BI analyst, and he wants to move into data engineering. So I would suggest going for the Python course to help you out there. I don't think you want to go through the full MERN stack. Again, if you're doing anything with MERN stack, you do need to know JavaScript because it is a JavaScript-based language. Without knowing JavaScript, you're not going to be able to succeed. So you need to know extensive amount of JavaScript before you go over to Backend and learn Node and Express. So stick with Python and you can become a data engineer.
And we don't teach web design, so don't worry about that. You definitely don't need web design if you're going to be a developer or a data engineer. It helps if you got it, but we don't teach it. Kathy
How
Lynn,
much?
we kind of went over this. Oh, sorry to jump on you there, Gani, but if you're a beginner,
I think we already answered.
Yeah, and you can take the quiz
We
if
already
needed.
answered. Derek, are the Saturday morning recorded? I travel for work on the weekends. No, it's not recorded. I think Sandra already covered that. Want to become really good at building mobile web apps, such as the ones that are on the Play Store? What path do you suggest? So, John, you would have to go through the front end development course, which is React and React Native. So we do deploy applications over to iOS, Apple Store, and Android Play Store. So you are going to go through that path. Now, as far as really good at building mobile applications, that's all with more practice. The more practice you have, the better you will become. And there's really no way around that.
Exactly.
But the path will be front end web development.
Excellent. So, Tom Stout, what's up? We provide the curriculum materials for you. Our custom content is very good. People even like the voices, the narration. It's been complimented on, and you don't have to go out and dig around for your own supplemental resources. Although that's always great as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you still need to do that regardless. As a developer, you always will need to do that. A video, a class will never be able to cover every single thing because as we record this session, something else will come out tomorrow, and anything we said in this video might be obsolete. Who knows?
Yeah, we're already obsolete since we started. Okay. No, just kidding.
Can you jump straight? Yeah. Can you jump straight to the backend Python course? One should first do front end. I would say do a fundamental class, and then you can jump into backend Python course if you are brand new. But if you have somewhat of programming knowledge, then you can jump straight into backend Python course.
And you want to take this test yourself. Don't forget.
Yeah. Emil, I see some of the job requirements for junior data engineers to have 1 to 3 years of Python experience, but does your partner companies consider that we still do not have experience in the language? So that if some companies ask for 1 to 3 years, you still want to apply for that. That's technically speaking, you still have somewhat of working knowledge with as you're learning through it or as you so when you are done with the graduation, come over to me. I'll take care of you. We'll work it out. We'll walk through stuff, and yes, you still would apply for that position, but we will have to work on your resume, your portfolio project at the end to make sure you are, right at 1 to 3. Most of the folks that graduate from Nucamp, they're ready to hit the ground running. You have seen Zendra showed you a few projects, but there's many, and the folks they just recently graduated and they are creating something so amazing. So it tells you that you are ready to hit the ground running once you graduate.
Yeah, good answer. So I don't know about if you already hate front end and you tried it. Did you enjoy learning to code? So I imagine you already tried JavaScript. If you did,
So
if you say you tried front end.
I was gonna say, if you tried front end and you hate it, I know for a fact that some folks do like back end better, and not necessarily front end. But in many cases, front end is easier than back end. Um, and as far as development goes, it's easier to do front end development than back end. So, just gonna say, give it a try. Take some online free courses if you may, and see how well you do. You're always more than welcome to try it out. And again, week 1 is very easy. Week 2 is a little bit harder, and then week 5 is the hardest. So,
Yeah, good job. So, oops, we don't want to block you. No way.
can I do New Camp while I'm in school already? Anthony, if you could spare 15 to 20 hours a week, I would say yes. That's completely up to you. We don't necessarily restrict you or tell you you can or cannot do. The folks that I didn't think they would make it through. They did a really good job. But it's not up to me to decide, or it's not up to anyone to decide if you're gonna be able to make it through or not. It's for
Right,
you to decide, and once you go through, you can figure that out.
right. And you just have to be 18 or older as well. So which school are you in?
Oh, sure.
So we only have about 2 minutes left. So I'm gonna try to whip through these. Thomas, you have access to your instructor. You can send them messages during the week. They will reply to you. We use Slack for that. And then you can also talk to our community as well for support. David, we already addressed your questions. Christopher, you said there's no appointments. Please, as I mentioned, send me an email. And the same for Kevin. Send an email to info@nucamp.co. Let's see. Should age be a factor in deciding to join or not? If you're 18, you're good to go. Let's see. Tutoring or mentoring? There isn't, we don't use the word tutoring or mentoring. You have your instructor who helps you with your code and your projects. And you have coach support after graduation. Anything you wanted to cover there, Gani?
No, I think you did. You covered it already. Yeah, your instructors should be able to help you debug, review your code, help you with the code, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. Irene, you scheduled a call but refused to call you back. Please send us an email at info@nucamp.co and we'll get you right scheduled up. Let's see. Anything else catch your eye in the last couple of minutes that I should cover there, Gani? I think we've.
I joined the backend class. I do not have JavaScript experience. However, I was a DBA and PLSQL developer in the past. Um, so Franco, I think, um, so even though you don't have JavaScript experience, I would still start with a Bootstrap class, the front end, and then go from there. Um, so your DBA and PLSQL experience will not help you with MERN but if you want to take that over to your Python, you'll be able to help you there with that because you're actually learning SQL and Postgre. Is it
Yeah,
recommended to
that's
do?
perfect. Yeah, then just stay where you are because you'll start off with basic Python there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it recommended to do web dev front end, then back end, or can we do web dev, then back end? Um, web
We,
dev,
yeah, we kind of
front
touched on
end,
that
back end. Yeah.
during the slideshow. Maybe you missed it there,
Mm-hmm.
Lambert, but just to reiterate, if you're a beginner, we recommend you start with web development fundamentals and then do the backend course. And then if you want to continue on, do the full stack course. If you already have some data structures and algorithms under your belt, do you know data structures and algorithms? Then you can go with web fundamentals and then straight into the full stack course. I think that's
Okay.
pretty much
Yeah.
it for today.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want
We're
to thank
over our
you
time.
for your questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're go over time, but if you have any more questions, send me an email, info@nucamp.co. We will love to answer them. Thanks so
Yep.
much,
And don't forget the
Naveen.
chat functionality.
What's
Yeah.
that
Don't
now?
forget the chat functionality. I was gonna say don't forget the chat functionality. So someone is there always there to answer your questions via chat as well.
Oh, good point. Yeah, if you can't get us on the
Yep.
phone, chat with us on the web chat. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and looking forward to the weekend as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.